So we're here today with Marla Dukharan, who's the chief economist at BIT. Fascinating lady, and I think you've seen her in the news a lot in Barbados. Pretty fearless. She regularly takes Caribbean leaders to task on their economic policies and so on. But today, that's not what we're talking about at all here on the Red Couch. So we're chatting about exactly who is Marla Dukharan. Well, I did a little reading up, but I didn't find a lot on you. I went to Facebook, but I didn't find you there. And so obviously she doesn't, you don't do the social media scene.
Well, I'm on Twitter, but not
on Twitter,
Facebook.
Not Facebook, okay. And, well, I know you're Trinidadian, I know you're an economist, and I know that you're now domiciled in Barbados working with BIT. But tell us a little bit about Marla Dukharan, the person, and your career too as well. I'd like to learn a little bit about your career, how you got into the field that you're in, what drove you in that direction.
Well, Vic, it started in lower six in high school when I opened an economics textbook that was authored by John Bairdshaw, and I just fell absolutely and hopelessly in love.
Wow.
And to this day, I would say that economics remains my first love. It's something that when I saw it, when I read this text, and of course in class as well, I felt at home, and everything made sense, everything clicked, and I thought to myself, why didn't I see this before? Like how could I not have known about this before?
Have you made a lot of friends in Barbados?
I had a lot of friends in Barbados even before I moved here, and bless them. I mean, I think the Lord has blessed me with the most amazing girlfriends in the world, and I think that they're a tremendous source of love and support that I could not have done without. I don't have many people I would really consider my true friend, and that I would say, look, I don't feel like going out tonight, why don't you just come by me and we lie on the couch in pajamas and talk and have a glass of wine kind of thing, you know? But I do believe in the value of having a few really good friends, and people come and go in your life, and that's fine. I was explaining this to my daughter because, you know, they had to leave friends behind, and there's some of them who fell away, and she, I think, feels guilty about that. And I said, you know what, this is how life is, and you know, you meet somebody and your friends, and this is true of marriage as well. Any relationship, you know, you're growing at a certain speed and in a certain direction, and it's not always the case that the other person grows at the same speed and in the same direction as you. And so it's fine if that same person is not your friend 20 years on, you know.
Let's talk a little bit about Marla now, outside of work and family sphere and so on. What are the things that make you tick? What are the things that you love to do when you're not deep into your economics and your strategies and planning and so on, and the family, dealing with the kids and probably running into parties and either karate or swimming or whatever the social activities are? What are your activities? What are the things that you do?
Well, I love to run. I mean, I ran this morning, but up until early 2018, I would run maybe 2 or 3 half marathons a year, and I would run regularly. So that was one of the things. But you know, people keep saying, "Oh, you're so disciplined, and it's so good that you can keep exercising." And you know, it actually has nothing to do with fitness and weight or anything. For me, it was all about my sanity. It still is, because that's the only time when I run, that's when I get to actually stop thinking, if that makes sense. Some people say to me that when they're exercising and they're running, that's when their brain is actually most active and they're thinking about what their day is going to look like and planning whatever, and actually that's when my brain goes quiet. And I'm focused on not falling down, like not putting my foot in that hole and jumping over it, you know, so that my brain gets quiet. And that's why I run. I don't watch TV. I do not watch TV. I think there's nothing that I find exciting about TV. When I'm on a plane, I will download from Netflix documentaries, to pass the time because I can't sleep on planes, or I will read, but I don't watch TV. But Twitter is very good, depending on who you follow and what you're looking for and the hashtags you focus on. Twitter is very good at feeding you the news, I find. Mm-hmm. And so that's been how I consume for the past, I would say maybe 6 years, how I consume most of the news. I often find, like Friday night, my friends know not to call me to go out.
Because, that's sleep time.
Well, I kid you not, by about 6:30, 7 o'clock on a Friday evening, I'm in my pajamas and I'm in bed with a book. I very rarely go out.
I see the team here laughing. They're looking at you.
I'm so boring. You have no idea. Yeah. I'm so boring.
The average perception of the Trinidadian male or female is that you're all outgoing, you're all party people, you're all jokesters, you crack, so it's a little perhaps outside of that definition. You don't fit into that.
I don't think I do. I mean, maybe in my 20s, maybe it was a little bit more like that, but no, I mean, having kids and having responsibilities and a demanding career and all of that does change the way your life works. I mean, even to me, the whole concept of love. And when I had my daughter and they put her in my arms, and I looked at her and I said, my God, this is mine, and I looked at my husband and was like, oh, I thought I loved you, but no. That wasn't real, that was something else.
Absolutely, absolutely.
My daughter said to me this morning in the car, she said, because I asked her to change the music, she says, okay, boomer. And then she says, yeah, it was your generation that destroyed the planet. I think that we really have to take responsibility. It's so important for us to take responsibility. We always say that, we're not the ones responsible for all the carbon emissions, but then we get all the hurricanes. Yes, we produce, very little in terms of the global scale, but we're still very much woefully overdependent on carbon, on fossil fuel, and so we need to fix that. I have an electric vehicle, fully electric. I'm so proud.
Well, one last thing. I want to ask Marla one question about the kitchen. Do you spend any time in your kitchen? Is that?
I do. I do out of necessity.
Out of necessity.
I mean, just yesterday I was saying to my husband, because there was something that he cooked, and my son said to him, Daddy, don't tell Mommy, but she tried to make this a few weeks ago, and it was okay, but yours is so much better, Daddy. And I said to him, I would not argue with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue because, he enjoys cooking and loves it, and it's this whole big production in the kitchen, whereas I just go in with like laser focus, chop, 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 throw, mix, mix, mix. Okay, I need to just get out of here as quickly as possible with minimal damage to me and also to whatever else is there, and minimal mess as well. Try to be efficient. So cooking is something that I do because I have to, because I don't believe in feeding my kids hot dogs. And it's something that if I didn't have to do it, I was saying this to my husband, if I didn't have to cook, I can live on yogurt, fruit, and salad. I would never cook. I swear to you, I would never cook. I would go out for a meal, and I would otherwise exist on yogurt, fruit, and salad. This Barbados is the only place that I could make curry, and everybody would be happy and would rave. If I made that meal and took it to my family, I would not hear the end of it, right? But everybody in the office, bless them, appreciated it. And I was happy, they were happy, everybody's happy.
Absolutely.
It's a good thing you didn't ask me about West Indies cricket. I don't know anything.
Another untypical Trinidadian then.
I only ever watched cricket when Pakistan was playing back in the days when Imran Khan was, oh my gosh.
The heartthrob.
Oh my gosh. And then there's Wazir Makram, there was Waka Yunus. I remember once my dad coming through the door in a hurry. He was out, whatever. As he came through the door, what's the score? And I'm like, looking at the TV like, oh, it's and he's like, but you're watching the cricket? I was like, I'm watching the man. Look, Imran Khan on the TV,
Well, Marla Dukharan, I want to thank you for sharing some of those very personal insights in terms of your personal life, your likes and your dislikes. And we won't ask you about West Indies cricket. We try not to put our guests under that type of pressure and so on. But thank you for coming here on the Red Couch and sharing a little insight into, now we know when we see you on the television or we see you in the newspaper or hear you on radio, now we know a little bit more about Marla Dukharan and her life and her story so far today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.